All right, go and take your practice exercise and speed drill booklet out. Turn to page 21. Page 21. And I want to take a look at exercise 24 together. Exercise 24 there at the bottom of page 21. Talking about health insurance. I'm going to go ahead and read the blurb to you and then talk it over a little bit more to make sure we've got a good understanding. But health insurance covers a person's medical expenses. Policyholder pays a monthly premium in most cases. Most policies will have a deductible, and many procedures will incur a copayment, which is a percentage of the cost the policyholder must pay. So several terms that you should already recognize, right? We talked about car insurance, and so we already should be familiar with the word policyholder, right? Premiums, right? Those are the payments for insurance. Deductible, remember that's what you pay up front before insurance starts doing anything. Now, some procedures, when you get sick or when you need to have a surgery done or something, Lana, you'll go in and you'll have your deductible you'll pay, and then insurance takes care of everything. In some cases, though, there will be what's called a copayment, meaning, all right, you're going to pay the first 20% of this procedure, and once you've paid your 20%, we'll pay 80%. Does that make sense? So a lot of health insurance plans will cover a percentage of a procedure after you pay your copayment up to a certain deductible before insurance kicks in. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Are we already familiar with health insurance, or do we want to go through it, maybe an example before we start working these? Do you remember talking about this last year, or do we need maybe an example?
I think I remember.
Let's suppose, for instance, Lana wants to or needs to have a, pick a part of your body that's just, it needs help. Glenn's mean. He says your head. All right. Just saying, Glenn, she's got straight A's.
Let's just say, I broke my leg.
I broke her leg. Okay, it's really bad broke. Like it's like you've never seen broke this bad. It's in 10 pieces. All right, and they need to like try to get them all back together. You've got rods and screws everywhere. Okay, this is a really bad leg. Okay, and Lana's gonna have surgery. And so for Lana's surgery, I mean, you've got doctor's bills all out the wazoo. There's the anesthesiologist for the surgery. There's all kinds of people who take care of her. And her bill from the hospital is going to be $55,000. Okay, now the reason you have health insurance is because ain't nobody got $55,000, right? Now, first of all, the insurance company, they got like tie-ins with all the doctors and stuff, and they've already told the doctor, hey, if it's one of our people, you're just going to agree up front to make that $35,000, okay? Because you're one of our people, like we're buddies, okay? So it's called in-network. If it's one of those in-network people, hey, we're going to lower that to $35,000. Help us out a little bit, and we'll make sure we send people your way. Little scratch my back, you scratch. Yeah. Anyway, so some of that going on, and then for this particular procedure, Lana has a deductible of, let's just say her deductible is $2,500 deductible. Well, if the bill got reduced down to $35,000 per her insurance contract, then she's paying the first $2,500 of that. Okay, so she's going to pay, and that's going to take it down to $32,500. But the insurance company probably, unless she's got a great insurance policy, which she pays outrageous premiums every month, they're probably not paying 100% after the deductible. Probably they will pay 80% after her 20% copayment, or often we just say copay. So we got it down. Lana paid this, right? But then she's also going to pay 20% of this. So times 0.20. I'm lazy. I don't write the 0. I'm going to knock off a 0 and a decimal, right? Some little shortcuts there. And so Lana pays another $7,500 copay. So Lana, this was your deductible. This was your copay. What do you pay for surgery? Can you add that together, or either of you? 2,500 and 7,500. 10,000. Right? She ends up paying $10,000 for her surgery, which is a lot of money, but it's not as bad as $55,000. Now, how much does the insurance company end up paying? Well, if they didn't have a negotiated agreement ahead of time, okay, they're paying everything else, but they're paying up to the $3,500 mark. So the company pays $25,000, and Lana paid $10,000. So, although it's bad, Lana still ain't got to pay $25,000, right? So she can have her leg put back together after it's just absolutely destroyed by getting hit by a car. I mean, something. She went out on the road, and I said, don't go into the road until I say so. And Lana went in the road during PE class when she wasn't supposed to. Car just smashed her leg to bits. It is a bad day. She's just lucky to be alive, okay? And lucky that she has health insurance that covers for damages like this. Now, the thing is, though, with all insurance, right, we might look at this and say, hey, look, Lana saved $25,000. Did she? Well, not if she's paying premiums every month, right? So let's suppose Lana to have, now, if Lana has government health care, Obamacare's come in, and Obamacare basically was, hey, the government is going to help you pay for your health insurance. The downside of that was insurance rates went sky high, like, oh, the government's going to pay? Well, we're going to raise our rates. So, for instance, pre-Obamacare, my health insurance policy might have cost the school, because the school paid for my health insurance, might have cost the school $300 a month. Now, that's a lot of money. Until you think about $25,000, right, for one accident. Okay? As soon as Obamacare went into effect, $800 a month. And the school said, we can't afford that. So I lost my health insurance. I lost my doctor that I would have gone to, because my new policy, my Obamacare policy, I can't go with that doctor. He's not in network. He doesn't have the agreement with my provider now. But if Lana could be paid $800 a month if she's doing it on her own. Now, if she's poor and the government says, hey, Joshua's got lots of money, so we're going to take Joshua's tax dollars and we're going to help you out, Lana. So instead of paying $800 a month for your insurance, Joshua's taxes are going to pay for 7 of those 800. You only pay $100 a month. Okay, but let's throw the Obamacare out because that really messes with the math. Let's say this is pre-Obamacare and she pays $300 a month for her coverage. Okay, and Lana, you don't get in car accidents all the time. Like, very rarely you get hit by cars because you usually obey and don't go in the road when I say to wait, right? But this one time, I don't know what you were thinking, straight A's, but sometimes just, random. Anyway, so let's say Lana for 5 years had this policy without any issues. Now, 5 years is how many months? 60 months, right? So for 60 months, Lana's been paying $300 a month. She's paid this company $18,000. And remember, she also paid us $10,000. So when the company pays $25,000 for her accident, how much did she really save? She didn't really save $25,000, but she did save $7,000, right? That's $7,000 is still a lot of money. So it's still, even if you're paying a pretty high premium for a long time before you ever have an accident, it's still worth it to have health insurance. Does that make sense? Questions on how health insurance works? Again, we protect our houses, we protect our cars, we protect our health as well. Questions on health insurance? All right. Exercise 24. Go ahead and work the top portion. Okay, we're going to take a look at the bottom section in just a little bit, but just do the 1 through 4 top section of exercise 24. let's go and take a look at exercise 24 together. Again, the top portion. We'll look at the bottom portion here in just a moment. Tanaya's mom has a health insurance policy with a deductible of $2,500. She had to have surgery done, which cost $24,000. Her policy required her to make a 25% copay after the deductible, and the insurance company paid the remaining 75% of the cost of the surgery. Number one, what was the cost of the surgery after Tanaya's mom paid the deductible? All you had to do here was subtract the deductible from the cost of the surgery. Lana?
$21,500.
Good. And by the way, the $24,000 is probably after the insurance company's done all their negotiations too. So yeah, $21,500, right? So she pays the first $2,500. The cost has now gone down to $21,500. All right, so far so good, Josh? Okay. Number two, how much was the co-payment? And again, you're finding 25%, not of the original, but of the answer to question 1. Lana?
$5,375.
Good, $5,375. So she pays the $2,500 up front, and she pays the $5,375 copay. Okay, so number 3, you still good, Joshua?
No.
What did you have for number 2?
For some reason, I got $44,075.
So you got the $21,500 for your first answer, right?
Yeah.
And you multiplied that by 0.25?
Yeah.
Okay, so just somewhere in the math, I would knock off the zeros, by the way, and do 5701 0 3 4, and that's where you got 5375. So I don't know if you can see where your multiplication had the mistake. That's what we should have gotten. Okay, so Lana, number 3, how much did Tanaya's mom actually pay as we add the deductible and copay together?
$7,875.
Good, $7,875 is how much she paid total for this surgery. So, number 4, there's 2 different ways you could find this now. How much did the insurance company pay, Lana?
$5,806.25.
Oh.
What?
No, and you wouldn't have had it. Okay, so remember the whole surgery was $24,000, right? And Lana, you just said that $7,875 is Tanaya's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So insurance company has to pay everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how would I find everything else?
I don't know.
Just subtract. Take the $24,000 it was supposed to cost, subtract how much mom paid, and that'll leave us with the amount the insurance company paid. So it should have had $16,125. Now the other way we could have done it, remember we got down to the $21,500 after the deductible, Lana? Since Tanaya's mom paid 25%, then the insurance company of the $21,500, they had to pay the other 75%, and that would also have given us that same number. So there's 2 different ways you can find it. Either of them gets you to $16,125. Does that make sense now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, so Tanaya's mom pays that much for her surgery. Now, there is something interesting that health insurance companies in recent years have begun doing, and they've got what's called a yearly out-of-pocket maximum. Okay? Yearly out-of-pocket maximum basically means the health insurance companies agreeing you are not going to pay more than this for your health care. So basically, once you've reached this point, you're done. You don't pay anything else. We'll cover everything. For instance, a lot of health insurance companies might be $10,000. Better policies, maybe as low as $8,000 or $6,000. Okay, is the most that the customer will have to pay, period. Okay, which is kind of a neat arrangement. Now, my in-laws, for instance, have had several different health issues go on in 2020. So, Joshua, they'd already paid for this and this and this. Well, they'd reached that yearly out-of-pocket maximum. And then right at the end of the year, they find out Dad's hearing is gone. He's deaf. He's got to get what's called a cochlear implant, which is tens of thousands of dollars. And the people who were going to do the surgery said, we can't see you till January. Well, the new year starts over January 1st. They'd already reached their out-of-pocket max, meaning if they could do it in December, it's completely free. Health insurance company had already agreed they'd pay everything for them after reaching that limit. Praise the Lord, they prayed. God moved the surgery up to December, and he got the cochlear implant and all the equipment with it for free. because they'd already hit their annual out-of-pocket max. So that's an important number when you're choosing a health insurance plan to see, okay, let's suppose disaster strikes. What's the worst it's going to cost me this year? And so thinking of that, it says if Tanaya's mom had had a $6,000 yearly out-of-pocket maximum, how much would the insurance company have paid for her surgery? Well, class, let me ask you, if her out-of-pocket max was $6,000, would she have had to pay this? No, because that's more than the out-of-pocket max. So if her out-of-pocket max is $6,000, guess how much mom pays? $6,000. Yeah. So how much would the insurance company have paid then? It shouldn't take you real long to solve. You might be able to do it in your head.
10,000.
$18,000.
24,000 minus 6.
Right, the $24,000 is the total bill, remember. If $6,000 is mom, everything else is insurance. You just subtract to see how much insurance pays. Insurance pays everything else. They would have paid $18,000 if she'd had that as her yearly out-of-pocket max. Now, this is unrelated to the exercise, but it's very important. Dental insurance uses a very similar sounding term. You listening? Dental insurance uses a term called annual maximum. That sounds a lot like yearly out-of-pocket max. But annual maximum from the dental insurance means this is the most we will pay for your procedures. So when you see an annual maximum from a dental insurance, usually at about $1,000, that doesn't mean that's the most you will pay. That's the most they will pay for anything. So for instance, my wife was going to have her wisdom teeth removed a few years back. And our dental insurance had a $1,000 maximum. Well, it cost over $1,000 to get the wisdom teeth pulled. And I thought, oh, good, well, we're not going to pay. No. That's the most they would pay, but they'd already paid for 2 cleanings. And the way they valued it, they said, well, those 2 cleanings were worth $700. So we're only going to pay $300 of those dollars for you. Yeah. So anyway, dental insurance, be very wary of dental insurance. They use tricky terms. So out-of-pocket maximum for health insurance is the max you will pay. Dental insurance, yearly maximum, is how much they will pay. And it's really messed up. But anyway, it is what it is. Throwing that thought out there. Questions on today's exercise? Feeling like you're beginning to understand how insurance and stuff works? Thinking this is stuff that's going to impact your life in a few years. So I wanted to, it's math related. Take some time, work some exercises to make sure you understand the math of real life. Because let's be honest, probabilities are cool, but real life math is important, I think. Any questions? All right, let me go and collect those from you then. And if you would, take your textbooks out. Turn to page 412. You had homework on page 406 and homework on page 412. We're going to start on page 412 with the second part of the homework. We'll go over it first, and then we'll go back over the first part of the homework, which was the page 406. So page 412, and you did numbers 28 through 33, totally unrelated to what we've been working on. But maybe it was a nice break for you, getting back to solving equations. I remember, Joshua, you'd mentioned the other day that as you were looking through your book, you saw a page of nothing but equations and said, man, I wish all the math were like this. And so I said, you know what, let me help Joshua out. We'll give him some homework that's nothing, section of equations, just for old time's sake, and bring back the good vibes. So anyway, hopefully, did you enjoy it? Yeah, nice break, right? All right, so there's your 1 through 6, and you went ahead and did those right in the book, which is good. There was plenty of room for that. And there's your 1 through 6, and you did that on paper. Excellent. Let's take a look at 28 to 33 on page 412 and see how we did with these. Hopefully they were refreshingly easy for you. Number 28, Lana. 6. Number 29, Joshua. 5. Number 30, Lana.
Negative 33.
-33 is correct. Number 31, Josh.
7.
Lana?
Is it that? -3.
Should be -3. So, real quick refresher. When you've got an x on both sides, you can't do that. You can only have one of them. So we always get rid of one. And who do we always get rid of? The little one. Which one's little?
The 2x.
Wait.
The -5x. So if we get rid of the -5x, we get rid of it by adding a
Positive 5.
to both sides. Now, you could have still gotten the right answer if you put a -2x on both sides, though. So far we're at 4 + 7x is equal, but not to 17, Josh, is equal to negative 17, right? So you gotta be careful not to lose that negative. Now, we want to get the x all by itself. And remember, we get rid of the thing that is least attached. What is the least attached thing to the x?
The positives, the negatives.
Well, it's on the whole other side, so we don't need to worry about it.
Right.
There's these two numbers. Which one of these two is least attached?
The 4.
The 4. And since it's a whole separate term, I could just get rid of it by putting a
Negative 4.
on.
Both sides.
And so that gives me now my positive 7x is equal to,
Positive 21.
and keep the sign.
Add.
You add it to get 21, we keep the sign, right? If I take $17 from you, that's negative. If I take 4 more, that's negative. It's taking, or negative 21, right? So add and keep the sign. And now we're ready to get rid of the x by.
Divided by 7 by the side.
And that's where we get negative 3. Remember, for multiplication and division, same sign positive, opposite sign negative. Here we have opposite sign, automatic negative. So anyway, good refresher for us there. And we are, by the way, coming up after, into the early part of next quarter, we're going to start a section of algebra, more algebra review. So we'll move into more with the sign numbers and the equations and stuff. So you'll get some more algebra stuff coming up in the 4th quarter as well. So we'll refresh on all of this. How about number 32 for redemption, Joshua?
18.
18, multiply by that reciprocal. And then number 33, don't be thrown off by the fraction. It's really just a quick division. Lana?
2.
X equals 2. Lana, did you go 6 for 6? All right, and Joshua, 5 for 6? I just missed that one. Any questions there? All right. And of course, Scott, just say this. If you have any questions on the homework at any time, something that we don't cover, make sure you have Mom email me, and I'll go over that with you individually. Flip back to page 406 now. And let's take a look at the rest of the homework. Talked about a lot of terms yesterday. I talked about, first of all, data. Now, Lana feels like she's getting bombarded between computer class and math class because a lot of the same terms, right? What is data, Lana?
It's just organized information.
Yeah, just a bunch of facts and information, usually that's related together, but it's a collection of information. Now, I told you yesterday that if that information is numeric in nature, if the information is a bunch of numbers, we would more specifically call it, Joshua, a set of, not just data, but more specifically, statistics. Remember, statistics are numerical data. Statistics also refers to the branch of math that studies numerical data. So numerical data, statistics, and we said as we study statistics, normally we'll be looking at large sets of data, and the main thing we want to know from this is, okay, so what's kind of normal? What's the usual thing? And we had a little 3-word phrase that refers to what's normal in a set of statistics. Do you remember that general phrase? We looked at 3 different blank, blank, blank yesterday. Lana? Measures of center.
Oh, yeah.
Measures of center. The center is the most normal thing, and so measures of center. But we said there's 3 different ways to find center, right? 3 different ways to find a measure of center. Do you remember all 3 of them?
Mode.
Mode is one.
Mean.
Mean is another. And?
Median.
Median. There we go. Mean, median, and mode. Now, Lana, mean very simply is just the average, right? There's the old joke. She said I was average, but she was just being mean. Anyway, dumb joke. Okay, but anyway. I don't know, maybe stick in your head now. Like, we already had it. You didn't have to tell the joke. It's in the notes, okay? I'm just kidding. It's not actually. All right, but anyway, average, mean, same thing. Median, though, Josh, refers to the true middle value if the statistics are put in